Coming up on this week's edition of Thunder Insider, the team comes home for the week after playing 6 games in 9 days. We'll take a look back at the recent games and talk about Reggie Jackson's emergence as a playmaker.
You want a snapshot of how his game has evolved? Folks, take a look at that play just there.
We'll check in with the Tulsa 66ers and their recent success, as well as a Thunder Watch Party. It's all coming your way, starting right now on Thunder Insider. Has been a fast and furious month of March. Welcome to another edition of Thunder Insider. I'm Leslie McCaslin, and as always, joined by Brian Davis and Grant Long. It feels that way, doesn't it? This team, though, has done really well to start off the month. 6-2 so far. For a time there, 3 straight wins on the road. They did have the disappointing loss to San Antonio, but my goodness, they came back with a fury against Utah at home the other night. Grant, what are your thoughts just on how this team has fared in the last week or so?
Well, you mentioned the road victories. I think that's impressive to me, especially at this point in the season. You have to gobble up as many road wins as you can. We understand that they take care of business at Chesapeake Energy Arena. That's not the issue, but you have to bottle up those road wins. You got to play well on the road because you talk about getting extended into the playoffs, you're going to have to win on the road. And I think when you get together with a group that can play on the road and be productive on the road, I think you're heading in the right direction.
If you look at the way the schedule is played out, the Thunder has won 9 out of 11 games, and just about every one of those victories would go under the heading of a quality win. And when you consider that starting in Denver, the Thunder played 4 straight games in different time zones, had a slow trip down to Charlotte, arrived there at 3 o'clock in the morning, landed at 3 a.m., played the Bobcats on Friday night, came home for 36 hours, and then played the Boston Celtics on the early game on clock forward Sunday. For the Thunder to have won 9 of 11, and the way that they have won these games, I think is really impressive. Stay with the big picture. Yeah, Leslie, that whole thing about March in like a lion, out like a lamb. Nobody ever thought that lion thing had to do with an NBA schedule, right?
Absolutely. And all of these teams go through this, but it was a difficult stretch for this team. 6 games in 9 days. 4 games in 5 days. As a former player, what does the focus need to be during this time as the playoffs near? It seems like when they focus defensively, that's where good things happen.
Well, I think you have to start there first because you look at this Thunder team and a lot of their offense is generated based on their good defense, their pressure on the ball, getting into the passing lanes. Those things have to be going forward as you continue to play out the string of the season, and I think that's where they are right now. I think also you have to have a group of reserves that you can count on to move the scoreboard for you or keep the opponent at a standstill as well. And I think they found that combination. I'm thinking about Fisher and Reggie Jackson, that combination of a backcourt, how productive they've been since they've been together.
And we're going to talk about Reggie and Derek Fisher later on in the show, but we've continued to see this team improve on different fronts offensively. They are not just a jump shooting team. This is a team that has had more success recently shooting within that 5-foot range. In fact, right now they are 3rd in the NBA, shooting 63%. Why have they gotten better?
I think some of it is that the way that they're spreading the floor so the bigs get better opportunities, cleaner looks at the basket. I also look at that resilience thing, Grant, where just take the Boston game where through 3 quarters the Thunder shot 9 of 22 in the paint but finished up 7 of 12.
Well, the spacing has a lot to do with it, but the ball is getting to the guys that have the most effect on penetrating with the basketball. So you hold your spacing. Russell Westbrook might get the ball. He drives hard to the basket based on the spacing. Also, you think about when Durant has the ball, how much defensive attention that he's going to receive. The fact that he's looking for guys that are cutting off the ball, it's so important if you're the other guys, if you're not Westbrook, if you're not Durant, it's so important not to watch those guys. Now, it's hard. I'll give you that. It's hard not to just stand and be a fan of Durant and Westbrook, but you've got to start moving with them so they can make those passes.
And I think you also have to look, guys, at the defensive end. And I'll just, you take those quality wins, Lakers, Knicks on the road, Celtics on the short turnaround, and in the fourth quarter of those games, and they kept it going against Utah as well, but in the fourth quarter of those 3 games, the other guys shot 15 of 39. So the Thunder is maintaining the defensive intensity while improving its efficiency at the offensive end.
Well, you mentioned that quick turnaround. Of course, March is daylight saving time, spring forward, and of course, losing that extra hour of sleep. But Thunder fans had a reason to get up early and get excited on this particular Sunday. Thunder had an early noon tip-off against the Boston Celtics, making for a special Sunday outing for a lot of local fans and families.
It's never too early for Thunder basketball, ever.
Oh, well, it doesn't help to have the jury day outside because everybody's still sleeping. Plus, you're missing an hour from last night, so it was rough getting him up this morning. I'll tell you that.
I'm excited about noon tip-off. Let's get the game in, get your breakfast out of the way, and have a great day on a Sunday.
Well, you know, most of the time it's prime rib, and they have a little bit of prime rib over there today, but you know, breakfast is the start of something, and I love it when they have the brunch before the game, especially if it's like a 1 o'clock noon game. You know, you come in here, you don't have to worry about eating before you get here. You can come to the game, and I always like to get here about an hour early so I can park, not worry about the traffic, relax, come over and have breakfast, and then spend as much time as I want to before the game starts. So it works out perfect for me here at the buffet.
Just getting in there early and more time to Thunder up all day.
A little excitement, a little extra excitement behind it.
I think it's awesome. I'm excited. I can't wait to get seated.
We're here for lunch, most certainly.
What are you going to get?
I think, what are you doing? A couple corn dogs and some chicken nuggets?
Yep.
I think we'll top it off with some cotton candy.
I just commented, those are some of the best scrambled eggs I've had in a long time.
Just the whole atmosphere, it's fun. She enjoys it. She looks for rumble all around, and so we just enjoy it.
Well, a fun afternoon for some Thunder basketball, and fans, that is not the last one. In fact, the next early start for the Thunder, but the last one of this year, is coming up. It's against the New York Knicks. There it is, Sunday, April 7th. That is also at noon, so come early, enjoy some Sunday afternoon hoops.
Ahead on Thunder Insider.
Derek Fisher has already had an impact on and off the court, particularly when he and Reggie Jackson take the floor together. We'll have more on this tandem's recent success coming up next on Thunder Insider.
Hi, I'm Reggie Jackson, and you're watching Thunder Insider.
Welcome back to Thunder Insider. We're now joined by Matt Pinto, who you can always hear on the Thunder Radio Network, including the flagship station Sports Animal on 98.1. And of course, Grant Long joins us once again. We just can't quite get rid of you just yet. Well, we just saw Reggie Jackson, and that's actually who we're going to start off this segment talking about. He really has emerged as a playmaker recently. He talked about how he's trying to be more aggressive, take those open shots. But Matt, let's start with you. How have you seen his play change?
Well, what I've seen is he's become more a student of the game, Leslie. After the Lakers game, he talked about marveling sitting on the sideline at the playmaking of Steve Nash, which tells me that he's at a level of comfort himself to begin to take that sort of input, which a player reaches at a certain point. And credit Reggie for the work ethic he's developed. And Grant, you see that he now understands his ability off the dribble with his strength to get closer to the rim, which certainly sets up him, but can set up teammates as well.
Well, he shows a lot of strength, especially when he gets into the lane area. He's able to bully a lot of the smaller guards in the league. But I like the improvement. I like what you said, Matt. But it takes another type of guy to actually go out on the floor and implement what he's watching on from other teammates and from other guards that he admires. And I think Reggie's been able to do that. I think the next step for Reggie Jackson is doing more of what he does well. So we see him get to the basket. We know that he's knocking down the three-point shot. He's got to do, or the next level of improvement for Reggie is to do a little bit more of those same things.
How do you think that Derek Fisher coming to the team has impacted Reggie? Because now they're out on the court a lot together. Sometimes Reggie has to maybe guard a bigger two-man. It's definitely changed, but they are doing well. They're the best two-man lineup when Fisher is the game. Fisher is in the game. Why is that?
Well, Fisher's E.F. Hutton. I mean, when he speaks, everybody listens to start with. And I think Reggie's fallen right in line with that. But I think alongside what Fisher speaks, players and Reggie see that he's delivering the goods in terms of what he's doing on the floor, which makes a big difference. And Derek Fisher's come in here and hit the ground running, and I think Reggie Jackson, again, based on his maturation, is now in a place to really listen and to really begin to put in place what it is he's hearing from Fisher. But they in tandem with Fisher spotting up in the corner, as we see here, and Reggie doing his thing off the dribble, they can become a potent tandem.
Well, I think that wealth of knowledge that Fisher has, all the playoff experience, the championship experience, it would be foolish for Reggie Jackson not to absorb that, and I think he's doing a great job of it. But you think about when those two guys are on the floor at the same time, it's Reggie that has the primary ball handling duties, but Fish is a good spot-up shooter. That's where you want him along the baseline. You want him when the defenders double-team somebody all alone somewhere to take those three-point shots. He's been very accurate since he's come, and I think that's the great production that you're going to get from those two players. And I think Scott Brooks has found that these two dynamic point guards in the backcourt can really be successful.
Yeah, forget number 6. He's spotting up and shooting threes like he's his counterpart, number 23 over there. That's been a surprise.
Ahead on Thunder Insider.
It's just fun. I'm glad to be a part of history here, and especially in front of a great fan base, such a great fan base that Tulsa has here.
Thunder fans, don't forget to take part in our Watch and Win contest brought to you by your Oklahoma Chevy team dealers. Not only do you have a chance to win tickets to an upcoming home game, just visit thunder.nba.com and enter the code 9212 or text the code to 68278 for your chance to win. Welcome back to Thunder Insiders. We say goodbye to Matt Pinto and hello to Nick Gallo from thunder.nba.com. Well, recently the Thunder has played a couple of teams who really move the ball well, and when that happens, there's a lot of defensive responsibility and rotation that happens, and the Thunder are really good at this, or they wouldn't be in the top of the NBA in defense. But let's start with the play and kind of show people what happens when a team moves the ball really well against the Thunder.
Defensive rotations are the most important part of the Thunder's defense, multiple efforts, and here we're going to see why Coach Brooks, when he looks at the stat sheet, doesn't even look at Kendrick Perkins' line. He's going to make a play here multiple times, and it's going to force a turnover, but he's not going to get any credit for it on the stat sheet. You see him hedge out hard here on Paul Pierce. If this was a different ball handler, he might not, but he gets out there, he makes Paul Pierce give up the ball. You see Russell Westbrook rotate over, Serge Ibaka rotate over, and then Perks the man in the middle again, stopping this penetration, forcing a turnover, forcing a difficult pass.
Perk made a trip around the world in this single possession, but it's the method of operation. And I like this hedge right here. He's got Kevin Garnett that he's guarding, but he recognizes Paul Pierce as one of the primary scorers on the Boston Celtics, so you have to give him that defensive attention, make them make an extra pass, get it to somebody else who's not accustomed to making plays, and you see the results, a turnover.
Well, this is also about scouting and, coaches preparing them. They know who's out there, what their strengths are. You saw Russell Westbrook run out to the top of the key to defend Garnett. He's a great knockdown shooter from the perimeter. Other guys are playing the drive. Perkins knew that pass was probably going to come because he wasn't a good finisher coming in down the lane.
Well, and that's what I was going to ask. I mean, how much of what they work on defensively works for most teams, and how much is very specific to who they're playing that day?
Well, I think a lot of it is specific to their opponent, and I think it's all about having the information to work with. And I think the scouting team, the coaches do a great job of giving the players the information that they need to take the floor and be prepared.
Well, definitely something the Thunder is doing better lately, too, is defense in the paint. We saw that against Utah. Two bigs that scored 41 in Salt Lake, only scored 15 combined here. Why have they been better recently in the paint? I guess they're second in the NBA right now.
Well, you mentioned the game-to-game adjustments. Talk about playing the Utah Jazz. We understand that they don't try to hide what they do. They throw the ball inside to Jefferson and Millsap, and you have to know that going into that basketball game. And I think Perkins, Collison, Ibaka, they were ready to play inside basketball to protect the painted area, and it was Perk who really got it started against the Utah Jazz. But it's been a collective effort from everybody along the front line to pay attention to those teams that come in and play through the post area. That's when you see Perkins' value go up from game to game, when you have a team or an opponent that comes in and likes to play through the post.
Perk told us last night, he said to all the guys, we're not going to let them get easy points. And the Jazz pride themselves on getting layups right around the hoop, but the Thunder took care of business. They beat them on the boards, plus 13 on the boards, and then also beat them in the paint, in paint points as well. So the Thunder's undefeated when they out-rebound their opponent by 10 or more, and it showed last night how it can be so effective.
Well, the Thunder have been playing well, so have the Tulsa 66ers. In fact, they're off to a solid start in the month of March. They've gone 3-2 so far, and even in one of those losses, Daniel Orton scored a career-high 30 points, and Andy Routon set a new D-League single-season record with 118 threes. Not a bad month so far for the Thunder affiliate.
I played well, but it's all due to my teammates. I mean, they helped a lot. I mean, they were great today. really unselfish, so that helped me score a lot.
Our defense is always creating offense. That's what we preach every day in practice, and that's what we have to do on the court. Time and again, is just get out and help each other be on a string.
Coach Darko, the way he drew everything up, it just kind of worked and kind of clicked. We all just followed through on what he had planned and had drawn up, and so it just worked for us.
I can see their continuous progress. Every single time that those guys come to play for us, we can see some new elements in their game, and we can see that they have improved shooting, back-to-basket game, defense, a lot of segments of their game. Daniel is getting better every single time that he comes to us to play, and he was really good offensively today.
He does a really good job. He's a really good coach. He gets us to play hard. He gets all the effort out of us. It's pretty much on us to do what he has planned for us and just execute.
We've come a long way, and we're one of the youngest teams in the league. We have a pretty good record right now. It's not where we'd like it to be, but coaches do a great job of developing us, and we couldn't be happier with that.
Quinn drives inside, kick into the corner for the three. Yes, the new single-season record, 118 threes in one season.
My teammates do an excellent job getting me open, finding me in transition, finding me in half court. A lot of credit to them, the coaching staff as well. And it's just fun. I'm glad to be a part of history here, and especially in front of such a great fan base that Tulsa has here.
Ahead on Thunder Insider.
They're out here. They're learning a lot with Perkins here and also Brewer, so they're having a good time. So hopefully this will help them out.
Jump pass, low to the rim, up with the right hand, slam dunk.
Gear up for Thunder Basketball at NBAThundershop.com. Declare your loyalty for Thunder Basketball at NBAThundershop.com.
You're watching Thunder Insider.
Welcome back as we wrap up this week's edition of Thunder Insider. Well, when the Thunder is on the road, you don't have to sit at home to cheer on your team. Recently, when OKC was in New York, several fans in the area went to a watch party where they played games, won prizes, and even got to meet Rumble and then see a Thunder victory. Doesn't get much better than this.
All you gotta do is look under your seat. Somebody has a London Share certificate under your seat telling you you are a winner. Going to a lucky person, we have Molly. She is going to draw our first winner of the raffle. Molly, what did Tammy get? An autographed Kevin Durant jersey!
I played Let's Make a Deal, and I won an autographed Kevin Durant jersey.
I just won an autographed Nick Collison jersey. Awesome. Right there. Man, I got Serge's shoes. Are they going to fit you? No.
I love it. We come to watch parties all the time.
Everybody comes out, has a good time, enjoys themselves, watching a Thunder game.
I love this crowd. It's energizing. It's fun. I love the spirit. It's awesome.
Root for the Thunder.
It is my birthday today.
We're just here to celebrate Thunder victory.
It's a Rumble hat.
To watch the Thunder and meet Rumble.
For more information on the next Thunder Watch Party, be sure to go to our website, thunder.nba.com. Well, so far this season, the Thunder has put on 11 Thunder Fit clinics around OKC. Each time a Thunder Fit clinic comes to a school, 60 to 70 kids get to participate, going through several different exercises and ball handling drills, and a registered dietitian from Homeland is also on hand to teach them about healthy eating and nutrition. This week, the Thunder visited Douglas Mid High School.
What's up, fellas? Y'all all right? Y'all got working on y'all handles a little bit? Huh?
Are you gonna beat me? Let's go. Well, just make sure the kids are active, get away from the PlayStation, all the technology today and the game systems. But they're out here. They're learning a lot with Perkins here and also Brewer.
Good pass. You gotta come rebound, Man, we're out here trying to preach fitness to these kids, try to get them active, eating right, trying to show them the right way to do it.
Let me see what you got.
Oh.
just trying to show them a little front planks and how to do push-ups the right way. But, you know, they was very active, so they act like, you know, they was really into it, act like they wanted to do it. A lot of them really didn't like basketball too much, but, you know, they enjoyed coming here today and doing the Thunder Fit and learning about nutrition and stuff like that. It's always a plus.
Good shot, good shot. I think, you know, in the United States, obesity is a major problem. And, you know, if you can address that at a young age, keep kids active, you know, get out in the community, working hard. You know, nowadays there's a lot of, you know, Twitter, Facebook, video games, you know, not eating right. So if you can show them the right way to eat and have them exercising, doing it the right way, you know, it can stop some of those problems. Rebound, rebound!
Oh, it just shows them that we're normal also. You know, this is where we started our dream at, in a little gym like this high school. And, you know, we're just out here giving inspiration to them, and that's what they probably need right now.
You know, the kids are our future, and the community makes up who we are. So, you know, I was just happy to be a part of this, and, you know, so far, my first time out here is going pretty well.
Oh, Jay, just keep on being active, just like Coach down there said, get away from PlayStation, go outside, have fun, great weather. Thunder on 3. 1, 2, 3, Thunder!
These Thunder Fit clinics are such an uplifting and motivating experience for these young kids. Each one, of course, is sponsored by Homeland. Well, that's it for this week's show, and with only a month to go, can you believe it, in the regular season, we are on the countdown, and this week we have some big games coming up. We play Orlando twice here and on the road, some big conference games against Denver and Memphis. So to see all of those games, be sure to check them out right here on Fox Sports Oklahoma. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week on another edition of Thunder Insider.